What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Trade Show. And as you can see, I'm not very good at playing guitar, but I'm with a guy here that is very good at building guitars. So I'm with my really good friend, Mr. Andy Trice, who is a cloud architect at IBM. But in his spare time, he designs and builds these amazing custom guitars, and he also sells them. And today we're going to talk to Andy a little bit about the process he goes through and how he may be able to build a guitar for you. So without further ado, Andy, how you doing? He's blowing up.
Oh, yep, blowing it up. Hey everyone, welcome to my garage / workshop. So let's check out some of the things I've got going on here. This right here is actually a repair. This is an old Yamaha. The internal bracing came off. Basically just put glue on the bracing inside, got it clamped up. Hopefully that should be playable within the next few days. I've got some other guitars here. So this is actually a guitar that I've got in progress. I almost dropped that. So this is actually the guitar body. You can see hollowed out, it's going to be chambered. It's cherry, you've got inlaid maple and walnut stripes into it. The neck is going to be beautiful. That's going to be 5-layer multi-laminate, cherry, walnut, maple. The fretboard, this is Paduke. This is an African redwood, super hard and you know, bright kind of reddish color. And then I'm going to put the top on, which is some figured maple. So this is going to be, you know, a beautiful guitar. So some of the things I've got in the works here.
So Andy, I see you got a lot going on right here. One of the things that I was going to ask you, and because I know a lot of people out there who don't know that are watching this right now, you didn't start out obviously by building guitars. You started out by playing guitars. And I know that you have had a pretty extensive musical journey. You've been in some pretty good bands over the years, pretty great bands over the years, and have actually toured with some pretty amazing people. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your musical journey now?
Sure. So, well, I haven't actually been playing shows, Scott, for almost like 2 decades, to tell you the truth. Yeah. But back in college, high school, college days, I played a lot. Played with a lot of regional acts. Actually, the band I played with in college, we went on a tour with Armed Forces Entertainment. We went overseas and played at U.S. military bases to play American music. It was actually the same tour stops as like Hootie and the Blowfish when they did their USO or Armed Forces Entertainment tour, and a bunch of other big name bands. But that was going through Germany, Macedonia, Kosovo, Hungary, a couple other countries that I'm probably forgetting. But basically, so played with them, play American music. We played a bunch of originals too. What's funny is the band I played with in college, so I went to James Madison University, and there were some really good bands there. And actually, one of the bands that we used to play shows with all the time, some of the band members combined joined forces. And have you ever heard of the country band Old Dominion?
I absolutely have.
So it's crazy. We used to play shows with them all the time. Have you ever heard of Taylor Swift?
Yeah, obviously I've heard of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so one of the guitar players for one of the bands we used to play with all the time is actually the guitar player for Taylor Swift now.
That's amazing.
I've played with, back in college, everything from like Frankie Goes to Hollywood to like regional acts, like Pat McGee Band, Fighting Gravity. I mean, those are all late 90s, early 2000s bands, but you know, you get the idea.
So the guys from ODU, did they play country music in college? Or
no,
what were they
far
playing?
from it. It was rock. It was straight up rock and roll.
Yeah, like the early 90s stuff that we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
That same genre. I figured that. So I got to ask you, so you obviously played a lot of guitar. How did you go from playing guitar to now 20, 30 years later, now building guitars? So, I mean, what it comes down to is I used to play shows all the time, and then after college, I ended up, I have a degree in computer science. I love computers. Ended up doing that, and my life just changed in that direction, and stopped playing shows and started working on, you know, everything from websites to like giant enterprise systems, and it kind of went that way. And as part of that, the whole drive to be staying up till 2, 3 in the morning playing music every night, you know, it kind of went away. Life changed. Had children, and you know, it's been fantastic, but I haven't had the need to be like, oh, I really want to go out and play anymore, but I still love guitars. Yeah.
And so what it's come about is I've always like worked on guitars, fixed them up, made sure they play well, make sure that everything's like properly in tune, properly aligned. And basically when COVID hit, I needed something to maintain sanity. And I've always wanted to make my own guitars, like ever since I started playing 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm in my 40s. We're all in social distancing and quarantine.
Yeah.
Why not give it a try? And now I've got multiple in and have some guitars I absolutely love and that are actually in the hands of other people. And, you know, it's just kind of taken off from there.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I mean, that's kind of why I'm doing the video stuff I'm doing. You know, you kind of look at yourself at middle age.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're not middle age, but we are.
Yeah.
Right? And you kind of want to start doing those things to follow your dreams. And I think it's awesome that you're doing the stuff with the guitars. Now, you've kind of showed our audience at the beginning some of the stuff you have going on. Why don't you walk us through the process of how you build a guitar?
Okay, sure.
What do you go through?
So, well, the first thing you do is you have to have an idea. Here, hold that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll actually do full-scale drawings to measure out what's the guitar going to look like what's the shape, what's the configuration, what kind of pickups, what kind of you know, bass or guitar or cigar box guitar, whatever it might be. And sometimes I just wing it, but some of them, like this is working off of design. It starts as a giant block of wood, something like that.
Yeah.
And then ends up through refinement. You know, I create these templates. So these are actually guitar body templates that I can use with a router with that wood. So you cut it to shape and then use a router to actually get it to near final shape. So this is actually the body shape for this guitar right here. Yeah. And this is actually the internal chambering. So you use a router and you hollow out the inside of it and then you put the top on it set out of that wood so that, you know, you get your first iteration of the shape before you you know, put it on the final piece of wood.
Now, what your shape-wise? Do you have a certain guitar that you like playing? Was it a Fender? Was it a Les Paul? What kind of, or Gibson? What kind of guitar do you typically try to model after, or do you have a certain model? Does it matter?
So when I used to play a lot, I always played a Stratocaster, Fender Stratocaster. Yeah. But what I build, I don't want to copy what you can get in a store. Yep. I mean, I love Fenders, love them. Yep. I had several, but I'm like, I can't build a Fender better than Fender. Yeah. But I can build my type of guitar. So everything that I have is unique. It's not, you're not going to find it in a store.
That's awesome. So everybody's you've walked everybody through the process. Now you guys got to see the finished product. Now I've seen them. I've heard this guy play them. You guys have to check out some of these guitars that Andy's made. Andy, why don't you show us what you've got?
All right. So I'm going to show you, this is my personal guitar. What's interesting about this one, this is actually a nylon string. So it's an electric guitar, but it's a nylon string electric.
Sounds good. Picturing a big applause at home right now, all right? Standing ovations.
So, yeah, this is actually the first guitar that I made, and I made this purely because I'm like, I've always wanted an electric nylon string, because they're really just kind of unique, and I love playing classical. I love just how the nylon string feels, how it sounds.
Absolutely.
So I started with that, and I've done some various experiments. You want to check out some of the other ones?
Yeah, absolutely. Show our audience some of the other ones.
Okay. So that's my current project. This is my most recent one I finished. This is actually a 3-string cigar box guitar. Okay, so this originated as a piano, actually. So a buddy of mine was moving. They had a piano. They tried to find people to take it, but they couldn't find anyone interested in it. I said, you know, would you mind if I take it and repurpose it, turn it into musical instruments? So actually all the wood back here is from that piano. And this is the first instrument I've made from the piano. So it's a cigar box guitar. I made the body. This front piece is actually the logo from the piano. The neck is the bracing from the piano. So it's a 3-string cigar box style guitar, and it has this like really like bluesy kind of like raw sound, and it just sounds awesome.
That thing is sick. The awesome part is it's not actually a cigar box, but it's shaped to be like one. That's what's
it's shaped like a cigar box guitar. That's the style. But like Yeah, completely made this from scratch. The top, the back, all the boxes from the guitar. The bridge, or sorry, the tailpiece is actually a hinge from the piano. Made the bridge here actually out of wood from the same piano.
What about these corners?
So those, actually, I picked up the box corners. That was not part of the original piano, but that's just more for like decorative effect to give it like that old school kind of feel. You know, I don't know, old timey, I guess.
It feels like something you would find like in the back corners of your grandparents' attic. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing. I mean, you've done a great job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I could plug this in. This thing sounds awesome too. Yeah. But you want to check out another one?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll check out all you got.
Here, set that one right over there.
Yeah, this thing is.
Ooh. So this one is probably my favorite one I've ever made. This is actually, I made it for a good friend. Actually, his wife had me make it for him as a surprise for Christmas. And so
shout out to Eric Johnson, by the way.
Yeah, Eric Johnston. I love your guitar. So this one, what's interesting about this? So it's a fully electric guitar. It's the scale length of a Paul Reed Smith, with the neck profile measurements matching a 59 Les Paul.
Okay.
It's a 7-layer multi-laminate neck. So the neck is maple, cherry, walnut, more maple, more walnut, more cherry, more maple, with a flame spalted maple body. So this was carved out of that piece of wood I showed you earlier. Yeah. This is the exact same piece of wood.
Okay.
So with a humbucker and a P90 pickup, but this thing, it's, oh yeah, also, I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but there's a nice sailboat inlay with the Zero Cote fretboard, which is I think South American hardwood. Okay. But yeah, this thing absolutely screams. Like, I've never played a guitar like in a guitar store that feels or plays quite like this one.
Yeah, that thing's amazing. So one of the things that you'll notice on Andy's guitar is this blue piece right here, and that's from a void in the wood, right?
Yeah.
So Andy, what I was talking to you about earlier, so every artist kind of has their own like signature, no matter if you're Picasso, Van Gogh, whatever it is. Andy's little signature to his guitars are these little voids in the wood. Tell them how that came about.
Yeah, so basically all the wood that I use is either reclaimed or locally sourced. A lot of the locally sourced wood, I mean, it's fantastic wood, but it's also, sometimes I use like cutoffs from furniture makers. There's a furniture maker in Salisbury named Brett Harper, does fantastic stuff. And I'll use some of his cutoffs, but sometimes there's a knot, or sometimes there's an imperfection. So I'll carve out the imperfection and then basically fill it with epoxy. And in this case, it's epoxy with a metallic blue and a sparkle pigment to give it kind of that glitter effect. And, it strengthens what could have potentially been a weak spot. Yeah. And then when you polish it up and everything, I mean, it just looks awesome.
It's amazing. Well, look, before you plug this in and play it, we're on the trade show. I love making trades, so I got a trade for you today. Okay. So, where's that? I've got a trader hat, one of them old corduroy trader hats for you. All right. I will trade you this for a couple Pearl Jam licks, because you all know Pearl Jam is my favorite band, right? All right, we can do that. You can do it? Yep. Deal? All right, let's rip it up.
There we go. Now let me get this back on. This could be a little bit loud.
Are you all ready for this?
I forget it. I
guess you all aren't ready for that. Yeah, but your kids are gonna love it.
And then, I like to just mess around with a lot of stuff. Like, I got one for you.
So, Pearl Jam is my favorite band. Yeah. Talk about you playing music. Talk about you building guitars. What's some of your favorite music, man? What's some of your favorite bands? I already know, but tell the audience.
So, I listen to a lot of stuff, a lot of variety, but I would say probably the things I listen to the most, it's funny how it changes over the years. right now is actually country music.
Yeah.
Never listened to country music when I was young. I always listened to, like, it had to be grunge, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, like, you know, bang your head to it type stuff.
Yeah.
Then I went through a phase, like, lots of Dave Matthews. I still listen to a lot of Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say probably the most commonly played thing on my stereo is Zac Brown Band.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that the other day. And every time you come over, I try to put some Zac Brown
Yeah.
for you on the playlist. Zac Brown they're pretty phenomenal, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
they're an amazing band.
Absolutely love it.
So,
And,
well, look, man, you've got me wanting to listen to some music and have some cocktails. But before we go, why don't you tell our audience a little bit now about how they can get a hold of you if they're looking to buy a guitar, or what we can do?
Sure. So if you would like to get any more information about these or just see pictures, check it out. You can email me, triceguitars@gmail.com. You can check out my Instagram page. So I'm Andy Trice on Instagram, or my YouTube channel, which is Andrew Trice on YouTube. And can we put links to some of these?
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll add links wherever this video ends up.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Well, look, you guys, it's been a great episode with Andy. Had a great time here today. We're going to go have some drinks, listen to some music. And again, if anybody would like to trade an idea, a property, whatever, story, just good conversation, give me a call, 443-614-4297. And we'll see you next time right here, only on The Trade Show.